Imagine standing in the middle of Times Square at midnight. Every billboard blazing, every screen pulsing, every neon light screaming for your attention. 1,000 shades of color crashing against each other at once. Now imagine that everything you are seeing, every color, every hue, every shade of light that has ever moved you, is only 3 notes in a symphony that has 16. You are not seeing the world. You are reading a single sentence from a book with no end. But here's the question. If your 3 photoreceptors, 3 tiny types of cone cells, are capable of producing every painting, every sunset, every human face you have ever loved, what could 16 possibly give you? What does the world look like when your eye doesn't just see light, but reads it? When every surface, every shadow, every creature moving through the water carries information you were never built to receive? To understand that, we need to go somewhere most people never look. You already know this animal. We covered its punch in a previous episode. The strike that travels faster than a .22 caliber bullet, generates 10,400 Gs of force, and literally boils the water around it through cavitation. If you missed that one, it's linked in the description. Go watch it. But today, we are not here for the punch. Meet the mantis shrimp, and today, we are going inside its eyes. The human eye is extraordinary by any measure. It can detect the flame of a single candle from 48 kilometers away on a clear night. It processes somewhere between 2 and 10 million distinct color combinations. For most of scientific history, we assumed we had mapped the upper limit of what biological vision could do. We were wrong. Here is what you need to understand about color. Your eye contains 3 types of photoreceptors, cones, one tuned to red, one to green, one to blue. Everything you have ever seen is a combination of those 3 signals blended by your brain into the world you believe is complete. Think of it like a painter's palette, 3 primary colors. Mix them in the right proportions and you can recreate the entire visible spectrum. The mantis shrimp has 16 palettes, working simultaneously, and none of them blend the way yours do. "16 independent photoreceptor classes, each one tuned to a different wavelength of light. Not just the visible spectrum you and I navigate, but beyond it, into ultraviolet, into near-infrared, into channels of electromagnetic radiation that human instruments had to be deliberately engineered to detect. To put that in perspective, NASA's most advanced multispectral imaging satellites, the instruments we use to map glaciers from orbit, track oil spills from space, and chart the temperature of the ocean floor, operate on 12 spectral bands. The mantis shrimp sees 16. It outresolves NASA's orbital technology, with a brain the size of a grain of rice, living in a coral reef, hunting shrimp. But here's the question nobody asks when they hear that number. Does 16 channels of light mean the mantis shrimp sees a richer world than you do? A more vivid one? A more beautiful one? Not exactly. Here is where the science gets genuinely strange. When researchers first mapped the mantis shrimp's photoreceptors, they assumed what any of us would assume. 16 inputs must mean 16-dimensional color discrimination. A visual world so rich, so layered, it would be incomprehensible to anything built with only 3. They designed experiments. They trained mantis shrimp to associate colors with food rewards. and what they found shattered the assumption entirely. Mantis shrimp are actually worse at distinguishing similar colors than humans are. Not because their eyes are limited, because their brain doesn't blend signals at all. Your brain takes 3 inputs and mixes them like layering washes of paint on a canvas to produce every shade across the spectrum. The mantis shrimp receives 16 inputs and processes each channel in parallel independently. 16 separate instruments, each reading a different frequency. None of them talking to each other the way yours do. It doesn't see more colors. It classifies light at a speed and precision that makes color comparison, the very thing we assumed vision was for, almost irrelevant. But here's the kicker. If 16 channels aren't for seeing more color, what are they for? Scientists call it hyperspectral vision. But what the mantis shrimp is actually doing is something more precise than that word suggests. It is not observing the electromagnetic spectrum, it is dissecting it. 16 scalpels, each one cutting a different frequency of light into usable data, faster than any brain we know of can process a blended signal. This is the living prism, and its deepest secret isn't in those 16 channels. It's in something hiding inside one of them that science didn't even know to look for. Among those 16 channels, the mantis shrimp is the only creature on Earth confirmed to see circularly polarized light. This is light that spirals, light that rotates as it travels through space. It exists in your environment right now. You have never seen it, and you never will. The mantis shrimp doesn't just detect it, it communicates through it. Specific regions of its shell reflect circularly polarized signals that other mantis shrimp can read and respond to, a private frequency. A visual channel that every predator, every rival, every threat in the ocean is completely blind to. It is a secret language written in a dimension of light that didn't exist to science until we built the instruments to measure it. But here is why this matters beyond the reef. Cancerous tissue reflects circularly polarized light differently than healthy tissue. Researchers at the University of Queensland reverse-engineered the mantis shrimp's photoreceptor structure and used it to design a camera sensor capable of detecting early-stage cancer in tissue samples, faster, cheaper, and with greater accuracy than conventional imaging methods. We have spent decades scanning the stars for alien intelligence. And one of our most promising tools for detecting cancer was sitting on a coral reef, inside the eyes of a creature. Most people walk past in an aquarium without a second glance. It's humbling, isn't it? The living prism didn't evolve for us, but it may save us anyway. So here is the challenge I'm leaving you with today. The mantis shrimp outresolves a NASA satellite with a brain the size of a grain of rice. And its eye is now the blueprint for a cancer-detecting camera that could save human lives. Drop a comment below. What landed harder for you? The fact that it beats our best orbital imaging technology, or that the living prism is now being used to fight cancer? I'm Marcus from Wild Fact Lab. Thank you for exploring the absolute edge of biology with us. Your curiosity is what keeps these expeditions alive. Stay curious. See you in the next video.